Santa baby, he takes you on the way. Santa baby.
Hey friends, what's up all my top moms and girls of the world? Kenneth here, and I am back for another video. Earlier today I was on the phone with my good Judy Slater or whatever, and I was like, Slater, what would you watch? What do you want me to record? What should I film? And he said, I want you to sit down and record true truths and one lie. I said, okay. So this is how this is going to work. I'm going to be telling 3 different stories, not 6, 3. 2 of them will be true stories and 1 of them will be a lie. I want you guys to comment down below and let me know which story you think is the lie. A select few KenDolls will have a slight advantage. Those that really fuck with me know a little bit of one story. So I'm just going to reiterate that one. But outside of that, these other stories are stuff that you probably have not heard. So the first one I'm going to tell is a story time about a date night with a white girl. We'll call it finger banging under the new moon. Interesting. Yep. So in my earlier teen years, around the 9th grade, I want to say the 9th grade. Yeah, it was the 9th grade. Whenever Twilight had came out, that was my 9th grade year. I had a group of friends that I would go see the Twilight films with. We were very much so into Twilight and things like that. At this time in my life, I was definitely figuring out who I was. I mean, if I was into Twilight, I probably should have known who I was. But at this time in my life, I was figuring out who I was. For the second installment of Twilight, which was New Moon, I had actually went on a date with this white girl. Yeah, very cringe. Looking back on it now, we were very much so more so like good girlfriends. But then it was a date. I was bisexual, quote unquote. Girl, I was never interested in the poo nani. However, I was still playing pretend. So we went on a date or whatever, and in the movie theater, things happened. So when we got in the movie theater, that's where the juice of the story lies. I don't know how many of y'all watch me ever had a little freak escapade in the movie theater, but we had a freak escapade in the movie theater. I finger banged this white woman in the movie theater. Yep. So with this next story, we're going to call it I slept with my boyfriend's best friend. It can't get more simple than that. So some spring breaks ago, when I had a boyfriend or whatever, I had ended up going on a little spring break trip with my boyfriend and his friends at the time. His friends at the time included his best friend, his other best friend, and then like his cousin or something like that. It was a third person. I didn't really know her like that, but she was cool. But I didn't know his best friend, which was a guy, and then I knew his other best friend, who was another guy, and then it was they dyke cousin. No offense to the dykes in the room. I love y'all. It's nothing but love. I don't know if that's offensive or not. I call myself a faggot. Okay, so we went on this little spring break trip or whatever, and at the spring break trip, it had to be like the second night. Remind you, I'm a Pisces. My birthday is March 10th, and spring break usually lands on like the week of my birthday. So this spring break trip was also like a piece of my birthday trip and all that. So I went on a trip with them, and it had to be like the second day we were there. We had went to this cute little house party. Now the house party, it was on a beach. So it wasn't like a regular house. It was a beach house, okay? We were all in the party, and at some point in the party, I had to go use the restroom, but my boyfriend didn't want me to go alone, simply because we were surrounded by like a whole lot of strangers, didn't really know nobody. So what ended up happening is his best friend offered to go with me, so my boyfriend would have to put down his drinks and stop having his fun or whatever. When he could have came with me, but he trusted his best friend to come with me. What ended up happening is me and his best friend hooked up in the restroom. Yep, we hooked up in the restroom. So this last story I'm going to tell is about the time my little brother caught me giving the dome, giving head. I was going to town, giving a throat. I was eating, you know. So my senior year of high school, bitch, I was in love, girl. I was in love, and this was like the prime of my relationship. It was actually like right after the prime of my relationship, so I was still in love, but it was like going downhill. My mother and my father were usually the mother and father that weren't really home, so I was usually 8 times out of 10 always home alone, unless it was like super late at night and everybody was like asleep or something. But usually my mother would be out doing her due diligence, and then my father would be out doing his due diligence. One particular day while I was in class, I got a text message from my boyfriend. He texted me asking me what was I going to be up to after school. I replied back and simply told him that I had no plans and he asked to come over. He ended up coming over. The only time I would actually feel comfortable enough with him to come over to my home is when everyone was gone, including my little brother. My little brother had actually had band practice, so I assumed that he was going to be at band practice the whole time. So school is over and my boyfriend ends up coming over like 30 minutes after I get home. 9 times out of 10, when we were linking up on a random note, we were going to be or something. Long story short, I end up giving my boyfriend head in the middle of the family living room. I was all free with it because I genuinely thought nobody was gonna be home. Like most times, like I got done explaining, I would be home alone. Of course, the day where I decided to give my boyfriend fellatio in the middle of the family living room, my little brother decides to leave band practice early. Now, when we would come home, the front door would usually be locked, but the back door would always be open. And the one thing about the back door is that the back door was always quieter than the front door. So I'm in the middle of the living room giving, and my little brother walks in. Literally, our living room was 10 feet away from the back door.
I've been an awful bad girl, Santa Daddy, and hurry down the chimney, nigga.